I teach aspiring software engineers how to get a job in the industry. And something that I always get asked by my students is, what is the process of interviewing for a front-end position? Well, today we're going to talk about it. Hi, my name's Zoe. If you're new here, I'm a software engineer and former university professor who loves teaching folks how to code. If you're interested in learning how to code, check that first link in the description. But today we're going to be talking about the interviewing process to get your first software engineering job. Let's get started. As with any job, you're going to start searching online. You're going to check out LinkedIn, maybe sites like Y Combinator, and you want to just start applying for the job that you want to get. Now, if you're an entry-level engineer or you don't have a lot of experience, you might notice that a lot of these jobs might seem out of your range of experience. They might be asking for 2, 3, and 4 years of experience. What I would recommend is don't focus too much on the years of experience. Try and focus on the skills. Do you know the skills that they're asking for? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React. If you know and you're comfortable with those skills, go ahead and apply. I mean, don't apply for a staff level position if you've never held an engineering job before, but you should feel comfortable applying to a junior level software engineering position based on your knowledge and comfort with these languages. So once you've gone ahead and applied, within a few weeks, you should be hearing back from recruiters. And the second step is going to be your phone screen. So on the phone screen, you're going to have a phone call with a recruiter, and really they're just there to verify that you are who you say you are, that your resume checks out, that you understand the technology that you say that you understand. This is also the time where they're going to ask if you have any other job applications going at the same time and what your timeline is in order to get hired, because this will affect where they put you in the queue of getting your interview. This is a great point for you to ask any question that you might have about the role. Is it fully remote? Is there a salary band? There are certain things that might be make or break for you as a potential applicant for a role. And you want to make sure that you're not wasting their time or your own by asking any of these mission critical questions in this first interview. Assuming you pass the first phone screen, then you move on to the technical round of interviews. Now, depending on the company, this could be one or multiple interviews. And depending on the level, again, you're going to have usually more interviews as you get to a more advanced role. So if you're just applying for junior level or entry level roles, this is usually going to be just 1, maybe 2 rounds of interviews. So in your technical screen, you're going to have an interview now with an engineer. Usually somebody who's going to be on the team you're working with if you get hired, or somebody you're just going to be working closely with. For front-end roles specifically, this is typically not a LEET code style of question. This is usually more in the form of a project or an API-based challenge. So they might give you an API to work with and ask you to return certain values from the endpoints and maybe do something with those values. Or they'll give you some sort of take-home challenge and have you build out maybe a landing page that does something specific or modify an existing project. Again, during this technical screening, this is another great opportunity for you to have your questions ready. Because as I mentioned, this person who you're going to be interviewing with probably is going to be on the team you're working with, or again, somebody you're going to be working closely with, so they can answer a lot of the questions that the recruiter might not have been able to answer. What is the work-life balance like? How many meetings do you have every day? What is the expectation of on-calls and things like that? What are the team dynamics like? You want to make sure that it's a good fit for you, and again, you're not wasting anybody's time by jumping into a role that at the end of the day isn't going to be a good match. And as I said, the technical screen is the hardest part of this process, so assuming you do well on that, the rest of this process should be smooth sailing. Step number 4 is the culture screen. Now, not all companies have this. In smaller roles, you might not necessarily meet with other people in the company, but in medium to large companies, there'll usually be some sort of cultural fit to see if you're a good fit for the role and the team that you'd be going into. Usually, this is just a call with other people in the company who you'd be working with, maybe engineers, but not necessarily engineers. It could be designers or product managers, or just other people who you might find yourself interacting with on a day-to-day basis. Typically, this interview is just a bit of a formality to make sure that, again, you're a good fit. Usually, if the recruiter thought you weren't a good fit at the beginning, they would have mentioned this before scheduling your technical interview. But again, it's good to have multiple perspectives and to meet the other people on the team. And again, another good opportunity for you to ask questions about the company culture and the dynamics and things like that. And that brings us to step 5, which is the verbal offer. Assuming everything well in the first 4 steps, a hiring manager should be reaching out to you to schedule a call. Now, usually this is sort of a call with no agenda, it's maybe a little bit last minute, you might be worried, but once they schedule this final call, it's usually that verbal offer, because they want to make sure you're on board before they put anything in writing. This is a good time to mention if you have counter offers, because this is where the negotiation will happen. And if you have any pressing, any important questions, what is the vacation policy like? What is the sick time policy? Do we get any holidays? This is the time to ask these questions now, because once they've put that offer letter in writing, it's going to be very difficult to then have it go back and approved by all the various people it needs to be approved by. Again, if you do have any offers, or if you're expecting to receive any offers in the coming days, definitely use that as a negotiation tool and use that as leverage to up your salary as much as possible within the band that they're able to offer. And then assuming everything goes well with a verbal offer, step 6 is when you get your written offer. Now, typically they're only going to give you this once you formally accepted the role. You said, you know what, I'm not going to take any other jobs. I'm going to accept your offer and go with that. They'll send you a formalized written out offer letter with all the details of the expectations, salary, bonus if applicable, and things like that. If you notice anything in this letter that you take issue with or anything you have problems with, definitely mention it before you sign it, because once you sign it, it's a bit too late. So go through this letter, make sure everything's okay, sign it off, and you've gotten your first software engineering job. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. If you want to see the resume that I used to get half a dozen six-figure job offers, check out this video here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.